Andrew. So, hi everyone. If I haven't met you yet, my name is Bryn. I work for MRI Software. If you haven't heard of MRI Software, we are quite a large and fast-growing prop tech organization. So we'll deal anything from property portfolio management through to workplace ecosystem solutions. If you've ever leased a property or bought a place, you most likely are dealing with an organization that is using our solution to enable you to do that. A bit about my background. I actually started out in sales, strategic sales and alliances, building up those connections. And what I've found by doing that is, you could move from one company to another company and those relationships would follow you to wherever you go. And that's sort of what the journey is I want to take us on today, how I've pulled in that strategy to MRI Software to really build those long-term relationships. So the agenda I'm going to walk through today is a bit of a journey. We're going to look at a particular client that we've sort of brought in as an advocate, insight into our clients' priorities, what in the market is influencing them and their strategic goals. We're then going to look at the link back to product. So how do you define your mutual benefit across messaging and the go-to-market? How does your product address your clients' strategic and intimate needs? The go-to-market strategy, so again, client intimacy and visionary messaging, and extending reach through your advocates, and lastly, defining the circle of influence. So understanding your client intimately. I know we've spoken quite a bit, in the other sessions about bringing your stakeholders on a journey with you when you're trying to go to market or trying to craft that messaging. So I won't go too much information into the internal side, but I did want to just highlight, this as an ABM strategic direction at MRI. It's a very enterprise level, so we're looking at a long-term adoption of business products. Sometimes they can take up to 2 years to come on board, and then the implementation can take even longer. So my role at MRI is not so much to take new products to market. It's trying to create awareness around existing products, and if we upsell and craft different messaging and different products together, it's how do we take that and position that to the market. So to do that, I look at something called the ABM approach. It's been mentioned before. It's not a new tactic, but account-based marketing comes down to working with your management, your owners, to really identify your top 10 to 20 strategic clients, who you've got that relationship with and who you can continue to build that relationship with. So I want to know, from those team members, what are the cross-sell opportunities, what are the pain points, not just now, but long-term wise, so that I know how to then craft the message going forward. Something I did highlight there is the industry experts. So I'm not talking about external industry experts. Internally, you've got people on roles that sit there with great industry expertise. They know what they're talking about. We call them industry principals at MRI. I can talk to them about, a particular field or particular industry that they would be focusing on, and I can leverage that value to add to our client's value. Marketing metrics, so again, it's sort of, going through the campaign management. I understand we use a tool called Bright Funnel or Terminus, if any of you have used that. It's a great way for me to go back to the sales team and show them all the influenced opportunities that marketing has established. So I can see what they've clicked on, what they've engaged on, any sort of event that they might have attended, any sort of blog post that they've interacted with. It's very important that I can then prove that to the sales team, because they're going to come to me afterwards and say, well, how did this lead come through to the pipeline? On the external side, this is something I'm probably going to focus on more. We got, client interviews, which we spoke about previously. I heard in a couple of sessions. Partners, something MRI does, which, might be a little bit different. Our partners are not biased to MRI. So when they go to the market, they're obviously going with a selection of us against our competitors. So they're wanting to showcase what we can do to our competitors, especially if they're going to a tender. And we get those partners internally to come in and discuss those thought leadership pieces with us. So we want to get that feedback on understanding where we sit in the market against our competitors, where we can improve going forward, and that's really valuable for me to then craft the message, or to go back to product marketing or to marketing in general, to understand how we can craft things accordingly. And then associations, social presence. Again, this is understanding where your client plays in the market. We'll go into more detail on this, but I think that's probably where we're going to go into priority with this discussion. So CBRE, I'm going to take us a bit of a journey on how this advocate came into play with MRI software. If you haven't heard of CBRE, they are a global PropTech leader with commercial real estate, massive brand in the market. Also one of our clients, have been a client with us for a long time. What we found with CBRE is, Amanda Steele, who we connected with, was somebody in the company that signs off on the contracts, not necessarily someone that we had a personal relationship with at MRI. So my goal here was to identify with the sales team and the product who is in that team that we can, really form that connection and that personal relationship with. Amanda Steele is brilliant when it comes to talking about PropTech, automation, data, analytics. Anything that you want to keep up on the trends, she's on top of that. I know this because we associate at the events that she's at. So we need to be at those events to understand what she's talking about in the market, not only for that reason, but so that I can associate with the clients that might be going to that, who are her industry peers that I need to be associated with as well. I've listed there a couple of events that she did speak at. I've also, identified Amanda is a great talk track with a few key alignments in what we talk about. So data analytics. Something that she talks a lot about is trying to take all that data and information, pull it through, and be able to report on a strategic level with that knowledge. And I know that we provide solutions at MRI that allows her to do that. So I need to go through her social presence, understand what she's talking about, what her values are, not just for herself, but also for her team and for her clients. So something we did is we invited Amanda in as a client. We discussed, her long 6 to 12-month process and goals and values for her organization. And strategically, we were able to prioritize of what is value to her now and what we can work to add value on in the future. So then how do we link this back to product? So I spoke previously about, identifying your internal industry principal, someone in your company that actually adds value and can talk to a particular topic. Mark Cohen is actually one of the VPs of MRI software, and he talks a very high level on, machine learning, data integrity, AI, commercial real estate. And I know for a fact that Mark and Amanda talk on very similar topics. So I know there's a mutual benefit in what they want to align on when they go to market with their own messaging. So how do I tie them in and bring them together? And this part's very important because, obviously you want to make sure before we take the next step that what you want to go to market and how you position your product with this really ties in well with all your clients. So product alignment. Working with the different teams or organization, my role is a bit of a hybrid position, so I sort of look after the product marketing side, but also go to the campaign. I execute that side of things as well, and I've got to always report on that. This is a great way for us to sort of know, working with the product development team as well as other, sales team, where our products align to all the messaging. In this scenario, we've identified that the main sort of talk tracks are, accurate data, workplace management, machine learning. So all this information that we've gotten gathered, then I can take back to our product dev team and say, okay, well, which products align with this, or which ones would Amanda be interested in? So from this, I can tell you that AI, machine learning, commercial real estate, as well as data accuracy, is all part of one particular product that we offer, which is called Contract Intelligence. So Contract Intelligence is a tool where we can go through and basically take all that data that a client or customer is using, pull it through and accurately be able to report on that metric. So they can take it to their strategic leaders and actually be able to forecast and strategically plan out the next year to come. And that's very important for our clients because they need to be able to prepare that and present that to their clients as well long-term wise. So you've got all this information, you've got the messaging in place, you've aligned with their thought leader and your industry expert. Now we do the market validation. So market validation, again, I know a lot of people have sort of spoken about this, and it is very important and crucial for this particular direction and strategy. We do a quick validation over different events, what our competitors are talking about, what people are sharing on social media. With data and AI or analytics as an example, I know that those are very key items that when I do a market research analysis, I can identify, yes, this is what people are all talking about at events. I know data and analytics is constantly coming up, not just with our competitors and at events, but it's obviously something that a lot of these leaders are wanting to talk to and be the leaders themselves in moving forward. So we need to find a way of how to position Amanda as a brand advocate, but also a leader in her field to the market. Because in the end, we want her to promote our product and to really build on our brand. So aligning on the go-to-market strategy. This is where we tie it all back in together. Something I thought was really interesting, and I sort of think it fits in well here, is a quote by Maya. She actually wrote, "People will forget what you said, and people will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel." And we've based all of our marketing going forward. It's something that we always are practicing on and sort of improving, but to really push the client as the hero in their own message. So we're trying to build that client intimacy and centricity in everything we do. So really hero them in their own expertise and field of where they want to be the leader in the market. And another stat was, 71% of buyers who see personal value will purchase a product. That's not just personal value to the company, it's personal value to them. So, in a scenario with MRI, one of our clients would use, we've got a facilities management solution they might use. We've also got a workplace ecosystem that they might use, or we might, provide them with a data for portfolio management. I need to identify who in that organization is the different target market we're going to, personally craft the message per product, per person in that organization. So if I'm going to an account manager, I need to talk maybe about time constraints, how we're going to improve efficiency. If I'm going to the workplace ecosystem, it could be more about health risks, how we bring employees back to the market, how we're improving those functionalities and helping them to adapt their software accordingly. So in Amanda's case, it's all about how can we effectively enhance their technology to provide efficient resources and processes for her team, but also for the clients that are adapting their software. And this is where aligning our mutual messaging becomes so important. So this is just a quick example I sort of mocked up as a showcase, when we went to market with this particular strategy, we ran a webinar with them. We actually got Amanda in to come talk to us about, her goals and her strategy, as I mentioned, and then we were able to put together and craft a webinar where we sort of co-aligned on data and AI and what they're using internally at their organization, which is our product, to be able to enable their teams and their clients to do that. So we position them as the leader in this, but at the same time, we're piggybacking our product at the end of this. So it's not a hard sale approach. This is a very soft sell where we're slowly showing how our solutions are adding value to our clients. It's sort of like a case study, but we've positioned this more as a thought leader. So they are the industry expert in this field. In this situation, we've said there, learn how CBR is simplifying the property management process with the power of data and analytics. Because CBRE is leading the market, they are one of the global leaders in commercial real estate. We straight away know we're going to get engagement from Charter Hall, JLL, Knight Frank. They're all going to want to see this information because they want to follow that direction. This is a quick example of what we sort of found. When I started MRI, the commercial side was still in development in terms of marketing, and it's still in development. There was a lot of webinars that we ran and go-to-market strategies that involved just product-centric focus. So it's always what our product can do, where we sit in the market. What we've sort of done since is incorporate brands that adopt our product or know that experience around the solution or the value that can come and enhance our brand or our knowledge around this particular field. So in this case, Deloitte, or Joel John from Deloitte, he's a director that specializes in the IFRS 16 compliance, which is a standard that we know that accounting practices have to move from to keep up with the corporate standards and changes in the market. So he talks really well. I've done some research on him. I understand when he goes and presents what his main talk tracks are, and I know where we align in terms of our messaging. So in comparison, if we go to market with a product, our general sort of attendance rate is all around 50, maybe 60%, or people that actually attend. We don't get a lot of engagement. We don't get a lot of people, asking for follow-ups or Q&As. If we incorporate someone like Joel John, what we found is that our influence quadrupled. So we've got 4 times the amount of attendees that came to these webinars. We found that a lot more people ask Q&As because you've got an industry expert there who can actually answer it as a thought leader. But we can also then add our value and say, well, our particular product can actually, this is where we provide the solution. Even if it's not now, we can forecast that these people, because they are a very long sales process, remember these moments. So we want to create something that they obviously can go back to and be like, okay, well, Joel John, spoke at this event or this webinar. He's a thought leader. I follow him. I understand where the connection is going. So you've got your message and you've got your, evangelist or product advocate. Now you need to understand where it goes to from here. It's not just a short-term strategy. This is a very long-term strategy that has to be continually crafted. In our situation, if I think back to CBRE, we've done a couple events with them now. So if I'm looking at co-presenting, so that's talking at different events together where you can add value. There's some big amazing events all talking about data and analytics, and we've positioned ourselves alongside them as brand leaders and thought leaders in the industry expert. We just had our event, or our biggest event of the year. I think it was probably about 2 months ago, where we invite probably about 600 of our strategic clients to come on board and learn and adapt the software, but also to be able to empower themselves with the knowledge that we can share and the insights from other industry leaders. So in that technique, we actually positioned Amanda on a panel with other thought leaders we were doing the same with, and we were able to go to market to get people in attendance to watch that discussion take place on an educational and thought leadership side, and we got a massive attendance rate. And then we had another session where she spoke specifically to the product. So how then is she utilizing the product to be able to enable her employees and her clients? Co-marketing is quite an interesting one as well. Something I'm doing at the moment is talking to JLL, who are professionals in the industry when it comes to workplace ecosystem solutions. So AI and how that's being adopted in companies to really help bring employees back to the office, how to help them engage better. And we found that that's really important now with the whole hybrid model moving forward. So JLL is known to go out to the market to do amazing surveys and research. So they'll go out to all their clients and get them to give them feedback on what they find in the trends are doing in the market, what clients are using to, what software is out there that they are adopting that's going to empower their workplaces to do this. So what we're going to do is partner with JLL to craft co-joint messaging through these surveys where we can go to the market and say, MRI and JLL have gone to the market, they've done the survey, they've got back these results. I will put that into a download of a report that gives them all these insights, and we will send it out through our direct marketing campaigns where people can download that and we'll collect their details. It's a great way. We've seen how they've been interacting and sort of doing it themselves, and we want to sort of use that knowledge and that skill, and I think that's going to be a massive gen driver for us going in the future. This is probably my favorite slide. It's the circle of influence and how one relationship extends to many. So just to take you a bit of a journey through here, it's sort of like a chain reaction. You've got this one relationship where you've built now, we've got CBRE as the focal point and how they've connected us to so many other big brands in the market. So through CBRE, we've connected with them previously to one of the events that they were speaking at. We sort of have developed that relationship, gone to some of their events, and we've since met QIC, which is a client of CBRE, which is now using our solution through CBRE. So CBRE is an advocate to that particular client for us. I know for a fact that Vicinity Centres mentioned there and CBRE both invested in another company called Taronga Ventures. Taronga Ventures is a company that deals on metrics when it comes to energy insight, anything to do with monitoring the energy usage within a building. They are leading the way in that, and that is something that we are adopting very soon. We've got a product that's called eSight Energy, which will come to Australia in the new year, and we want to already be the thought leaders and industry experts in that. And so we will align with somebody like Vicinity Centres or Taronga Ventures that are already there and leading the market, because we want to associate our brand to that at the same time. Transport for New South Wales. Dexis, we've got plans in motion with them to get them in and actually talk to us about ongoing activity on thought leadership side. That would probably be more in the prop tech sort of space. And another example is probably PCA. So PCA is an association. They are a huge association where I know all of our clients go and are a part of, but I also know that our competitors pay a lot of money to be members of that association and to promote or cross-promote with them. So I need to find a way to get into that membership without spending all of my budget at once to associate with my clients. So the strategy I would take here, for example, is when we co-align with CBRE, who is one of their main members, I would invite PCA along to watch that webinar. So if we're having a big event, we're inviting all our strategic clients, we would also extend that to associations and get them to sort of come on board to see what we talk about and how we can add value to that conversation. And in this situation, PCA came through, they sent a couple of members, really liked what we were talking about, and they've agreed to come and do a couple of thought leadership pieces with us as well. And one of the things that I know will happen is they talk very much about a particular product which is called Build to Rent. It's a new product that will be launched in Australia fairly soon, something that we're also trying to get on top of at the moment, and that will come into market fairly soon from MRI. But we want to sort of be there talking with PCA, who are the leaders in that industry field, so that we get a lift up at the same time. So just in summary, the importance of your advocates being combined with your product marketing strategy. I think it's also important to note that, as a product marketer, you spend a lot of your time crafting messaging, trying to create blogs, ebooks, white papers. What you're doing in this scenario is you're actually going to the two thought leaders, somebody internally, somebody externally. They've already got the knowledge there. They know what they're talking about. You're literally just putting them in a room to talk through that information at the same time, and you are opening that up to your network. So the conversation I've always seen with our thought leaders is that it's very free flowing. They're touching on points that are so educational, which people want to see and that are being influenced by, rather than sitting out a whole lot of bullet points and talking about a product specific webinar. So you've got all that content there, and what would normally happen is, because of this chain reactions happening, you'll end up with content that will last you for years down the line, where you can just run webinars, events, on-demand webinars. And what we found is, even on the on-demand webinars, we're still getting great engagement from top-tier companies that we're trying to attract and engage with. Client analysis and market validation. Again, very important, especially on a strategic level. I think the client intimacy and really drilling down into your ABM is very important. It's not only going to help you as a marketer, but I can go back to my sales team after this and say, Amanda talks about these levels of value add. So when you're having this conversation with Amanda, these are the things you need to bring up in your conversation. She likes to talk about data analytics, where you're going to in the market with that, how your solutions can improve that. And it's great because, the sales team now have an incentive in place where everyone has to get 2 thought leaders a year that will come in and talk to us about, the technology that they're adopting, what trends they sort of see are influencing their business, and how our solution is assisting them to, get through that or to improve their processes. And then lastly, the go-to-market strategy and the circle of influence. It doesn't just stop there. You've got a chain reaction that will happen. And it's very easy for me to then go to another company and say, we've done amazing work with CBRE and Deloitte and Charter Hall. We'd love to bring you on as well as an industry expert. We think you could talk great, about this particular field that you specialize in. 10 to 1, this is one of our clients. We do go out sometimes to, partners and associates to do the same thing. But that engagement is a lot higher, and we're going to continue to build that brand in accordance to that. So thank you. That's, me.
Awesome. I love that approach. So a couple of questions from the crowd. What was the impetus for kicking this off, and how did your executive team first respond?
Look, I think it's always a learning curve for us. My background's always been about networking. I love networking. So, coming from a sales background, I know the importance of building those relationships and really, bringing that through to the marketing side. And I think when you're talking to people and you sort of align on, what their strategy is and how they want to sort of push out to market, then you can often talk to them about, a product or a user case scenario that you can add to that. And I think just evaluate, I mean, the Joel John, for example, that was a test and learn situation where we sort of, running quite a few ads and, go-to-market messaging on the IFR 16. But because it's such a niche target and area, we was really struggling with that. And I know that Deloitte already had some amazing and impressive clients that we needed to tap into. So, combining that sort of resource with them and their go-to-market strategy, we were able to not only tap into their circle of influence and their clients, but also add value to them and position them as the hero in that particular area.
Nice. How do you incentivize customers to get involved if they're time poor?
Yes, this is an interesting one. I think I did find, when we had the big event, that we were sort of trying to get people to come and talk to us, thought leaders, and what will happen is often when you're talking to senior level decision makers, they are very time poor. So very important to, book them way in advance. And I think, leveraging big brands is a big focal point and a big pool for a lot of people. We were lucky with CBRE because they were very helpful in a lot of ways, and they've been doing business with a long time for us, which goes back to making sure that you've got those relationships there and you've identified your strategic clients. But then leveraging CBRE to, for example, Dexus, who I know, is very time poor, then I can, say to Dexus, well, we've worked with Amanda from CBRE. They definitely would know who Amanda is because they would have attended most of their events, and it's a massive pool for those individuals to come and do the same thing with you.
Do you ever have to coach knowledgeable advocates who maybe aren't skilled presenters?
Yes. I think internally that's very important. We've got people who have studied, artificial intelligence. I can think of one person in particular at our company who is, trying to evolve his role to become an industry principal, more from product focused. Sometimes people don't even know that they're industry or, industry principals. We've got a lady she's so knowledgeable, and she goes out and she'll train all of our clients on particular areas of field, especially on their property portfolio management, which is a skill that not a lot of us have. And she'll go to, some of the universities, and she'll sit down with their team and actually train them on that. But she's only just realized that, she's actually got the expertise there to become an industry principal and to talk at a very high level of that inside aspect. But I think, it is very important to actually spend time in crafting those people in your organization. They're in those roles for a position, for a reason. And I think, working with them, you can align. And if you don't add value, you can always just talk to industry principals in the market that are normally very helpful and will add that value add to it. I mean, with Deloitte, they're not a client of ours. The only association we've had with them is to co-market particular solutions or products that we both sort of, can tie in together. And I think that's important because at least that way we're sort of adding value in that sense. I think that.
And Doozy, how do you attribute the sale of these go-to-market strategies, given how long the sales cycle is, and what do you measure for success for all of this effort?
Yeah, so
self-reported attribution.
Yeah, I think this is it is. I was actually talking to my director before about it, but it's actually so we do use as I mentioned Terminus or Bright Funnel, which is a great tool for this. Generally, our clients are very long-term clients, and the product adoption is a very slow process. So my, KPI is measured both on net new, but also cross-sell and upsell opportunities and the marketing influence over that period of time. So somebody who might have engaged with us a year ago at an event or, some sort of activity will be only buying the product, this year or like a year later. Bright Funnel allows me to go in and track all those campaign touch points. And so I'll be able to see every single influence that that client has had. And then I can take it back to the sales team and say, well, actually they were, they came to one of the events, they came to one of our user groups, or, they attended the same event with us or scanned one of our barcodes. We can sort of track all that information and pull in the metrics. And, when they do a deal, it's always, a couple 100,000 to sometimes a couple million. And so I need to really be able to see where we associate that marketing value to that. And I think it has taken a while to sort of, show the importance of to the leadership team to actually see how it aligns. with Amanda, that was quite a big win for the company, especially, you know, for our MD who had been trying to, you know, establish a relationship with CBRE and our main client for a while, and to be able to co-present with them now has really shown the benefit of, you know, brand awareness, especially if our competitors are out there already for a while and they have already got that brand presence. We need to be showcasing that at the same time.
Awesome. Love it. Thanks very much.
No worries.
Appreciate it.